Hello there, I'm Cheyenne with Shy by Design, and today I have another DIY printable tutorial for you. Last time we talked about just how to use a free printable design and how to put it into Word so that you could add some simple text to it. Whether it's a sign and you want to add your own quote, personalize it with your child's name or something. It was a quick, easy way to do it. But today we're going to look at how to manipulate the text a little more in case it's not laying out, spacing right, whatever it is there, so that you can get it exactly how you want it, or hopefully as close to how you want it as possible. So just as before, you're going to open a blank document. Then once you're in to that area, you're going to go up to Insert. You're going to insert a picture. Look for your file. And I quickly saved mine to my desktop earlier. So we're going to look at some food labels, the ever so popular frozen theme, and insert in those. Close that out. Okay, I went over how to make this really fill up the space so you get the true size that you're wanting of these. So one thing very quickly, we go to Page Layout, Margins, and we use the narrow margins with the 1/2 inch. Okay, so this kind of helps a little just to begin with. Then we can expand our file some. The other thing we went over that you can check out in the other one if you want to look at it more closely is how to crop down these margins that were already built in, because it could have been printed in a different program such as GIMP or Photoshop. So we're going to bring that in, all the edges really fast. Don't forget the bottom. If you noticed at the very top, I actually grabbed the wrong little thing. Okay, and then you click on it's going to gimp it out on me here. You click the crop so it actually goes away. Alright, then we can resize and expand that out a little. Better if you go down to the bottom so you can see where it's expanding and how much. So you see that bottom corner. Alright, so we have that part. Alrighty, now we're going to look at how to manipulate text after we add it. So very quickly, we've already inserted our image in here, we've cropped it, dealt with margins, and made it fill the space how we want it to. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert. We're going to do Word Art, because I feel like that's easier to work with than a text box, because there's more details to do to that, a couple extra steps that really we want to save ourselves a little bit of time. So click on that Word Art. I like to just select the first one. Unless you really like the look of another one of those pre-formatted ones, then you can select those styles. So we have our text here. So we're going to do, for my first one here, I'm just simply going to type stuff your face with chocolate. Okay, and it did some extra little things there, but I'm really not worried about that yet. It decided to just center it on its own. Sometimes it does have a mind of its own, so you can adjust that. Right now I have a pretty plain text. It's just black. The font style is pretty basic. So I'm going to change that up. The biggest thing we see here and the problem people run into is that spacing, the line spacing. There's huge gaps and just wasted space. Too much white space there. So first of all, let's just go ahead and pick a different font style. It's best to go ahead and do that so you can figure out your spacing off of the font style, because some of them have little tails and curls and different things that they that you have to take into account, basically. Alright, so that looks a little bit better, just having a jazzed up font. And the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to change the font color. I don't need help with that. Alright, you can click up there at the top usually, or you can right click on the word art box, and you're going to get other options down here as far as your font style, your size, your colors, bold, and all of that. So let's go ahead and go to color here, and I'm actually going to go to more colors and custom. And what you can do here, I know the color of that little background back there, and I want to match it. So from another program that I used to design it, I can pick that color and pull it, and now I can find out exactly that RGB code that I need. So it's 192, 34, and 124. So that's a little above and beyond right now, but you can also select around, and you could probably get pretty close just eyeballing it. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one, or by all means just leave it black. It looks fine most times. It's easier to read. You want to make sure there's a high contrast there where people can read it. Now here's the big deal we want to get into, really manipulating the text. I'm going to right click on that again, and the first thing I'm going to look at is font. I'm going to click on it, and usually you start here on font. I'd already been clicked over. There's one thing I like to do here sometimes, which is small caps, which gives a nice little look depending on the font style you're using, depending on your audience and what it's for. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and leave it just that's regular. But I do want to mess with what's called the spacing. So on the spacing, I can condense it. Sometimes it feels really spread out between the letters, so I can go ahead and condense it pretty quickly, and it does that for me. Or if you want to change it up a little bit more than that, you can check this box right here for kerning for fonts. So that's going to change the character spacing also, and we can go down just a little and you can see what that's going to do. If we go too much, you'll see they're going to be on top of each other almost. So you can play around with that. I'm just going to go ahead and do the basic condensed one, and we'll be good to go there. And actually you can change that a little bit too and see how that adjusts it. Alright, so play with that how you want to. Let's go ahead and move on from there. Then the other big thing, once again, still staring at us, those big spaces. So that one you're going to right click on the text, or sorry, the word art box, go to paragraph. And this is the big one we're going to take care of here. And we're going to go down here to spacing, line spacing, and really what I like to do is usually just jump to 0.8 is a good one. It usually is a pretty good balance. So I like that one. You could adjust that number again if you need to. Alright, center it how you want it, and there you have it. For the most part, you can just carry on and complete the rest of your labels the same way. And in fact, you can do it a little bit faster if you click on that original one, and you can either right click and copy, or you can do your shortcut keys, Control-C for on Windows, and then Control-V would be your paste. And then you can drag that one over here, and of course click on it and change up the text. Now, the thing with this one, there's sometimes just words, there's characters, you know, he has this little arm here, that things have to be changed up. They can't all be exactly the same. So if I have this one as Olaf's arms, I really don't like this huge gap, even though the spacing is supposedly the same as this one. And in fact, if I want to go in, right click and go to paragraph and look at it, it's still showing that 0.8 from before. So if I try to go down, and if I jump down to something like 0.5, we're going to notice it's going to chop off part of our words, which we don't want. Okay, so you have to have a little bit of headway room on both those. So I'm going to back up on that. So another option would be, I'm going to take arms out of here and make it its own text box. Okay, so I have Olaf's, which is fine. I can copy and paste just to make sure, you know, my font colors are already taken care of there, and the spacing between the letters, even though I might want to change that because of the apostrophe, but I'm not going to deal with that right this second. So looking at it, you know, a lot of times I don't make the font size exactly the same on all of them. For this one, I would probably go up a little bit, so I would make it, say, 48. So then I do want to make, well, I don't even have to make it. It would be cute also to have the different sizes. But you see now how close these are because they're two separate text boxes. And I still need to kind of center it and adjust this layout of it all. So I can move it over just a little above and below this little hand there. And then grab the other one and kind of fix it up. And fill in the space nicely. Okay, so that's two different ways. This one we just had one word art box over here. This one we went ahead and I made it into two different ones. So two different options. You'll probably have to use them both or some kind of, you know, mix of them depending on what's going on with your characters, your font styles, you know, the tails and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and for one final little tweak you can do pretty quickly, I've copied and pasted from one of the other word art boxes down here, and I changed up my text already, and it's not really fitting all that great, but I wanted to show you that you can take this, you can grab this little arrow circle here, you can rotate your text, you can move it around a little. Once again, just another option to manipulate it and change things up, because sometimes we don't want every single one to look exactly the same. But our biggest thing is, I just want you to keep in mind, you want it to be easy to read. Of course, then again, I laughed that, you know, I made these for, I think, my daughter's 4th birthday. Or, no, her 5th. But anyways. And most of the kids can't read anyways, but it's still fun to have little extra things here and there. So if you're looking for more things that would go with this party theme, you need to check back at shybydesign.com. I'm actually going to be sharing the banner that went with this, the free printable design, and showing you how to kind of save on paper, save on ink, but also add some dimension to it by using a silhouette or Cricut for cutting out some extra letters as an add-on. So those are coming up in the upcoming days on shybydesign.com. I hope you learned something new today. If you did, please share away and don't forget to pin it so you can come back later.